Good morning, Mr. Goldbrick. Sorry I didn't get a chance to return your phone call last week. It was just crazy in the office. Yes, I've noticed that you haven't had a lot of recent showings, and that is disappointing. Well, I have to tell you that I've noticed a gradual slowing of the market. Often happens when we get into the middle of summer and everyone's on vacation. Things should pick back up in the fall. What's that? You can't wait that long? Well, we could always reduce the price of the property again. I know you've already reduced it $50,000, but there aren't any buyers out there willing to pay that price. Now, Mr. Goldbrick, I didn't promise you anything. That's very unfair to blame me for a slow market.
Looks like Patty's initial promises to Mr. Goldbrick to obtain the listing have come back to haunt her. Let's take another look at this conversation, but this time let's see if Patty gives in to temptation.
Mr. Goldbrick, it was truly a pleasure meeting with you and Mrs. Goldbrick last night. I wanted to check in and see if you had any questions about the marketing information I prepared for you. I'm glad you found it thorough. I always try to give sellers all of the information necessary to make an informed decision. As I told you last night, I think this is the perfect time to list your property. Buyer activity has definitely picked up in the last couple of weeks with the nice weather. What I'd like to do next is to provide you with a detailed comparative market analysis that I've been working on, so that we can arrive at the ideal asking price for your home. It truly is a lovely property, and I know it's going to show beautifully. What's that? You already have a CMA from Fast Fred? Well, I didn't know you were interviewing other brokers, and quite frankly, I think that's an excellent idea. After you've compared the level of service offered by other firms, I think you'll find that our firm is going to be the right choice for you. What I'd like to do is to drop off my CMA for you to review. No, Mr. Goldbrick, not every CMA is going to arrive at the same suggested asking price. Remember that a CMA is simply an effective tool that you can use to decide what to ask for your property. The CMA contains a number of similar properties to yours that have recently sold in your neighborhood, factoring in some of the special features of your property, like the professionally landscaped yard and the original wood floors. Ultimately, what is going to determine what your property will sell for is the market, and finding the buyers who recognize the value of your property. So why is the finding of the right asking price so important? Well, obviously, if we price your property too low, that's not going to benefit you. But if we price the property too high, where other comparable sales and active listings don't support the asking price, you'll find you have very little showing activity for your property. This is the spring market, and you don't want to risk having your property simply sit without any offers. My experience is pricing your property correctly when you first list is one of the most important decisions you can make. How about if we go over the numbers when I drop off the CMA? Great. See you this evening.
This time around, Patty seems to have avoided the temptation of trying to compete with Fred by misleading the seller by suggesting an unsupported asking price. This time she's letting the quality of her service and her advice speak for themselves.